So coming home from picking up some supplies today, I unfortunately turned on Glenn Beck. Actually, I went to listen to Hannity and didn't realize how late it was, and Mr. Beck was on. Mid Donald Trump, um, just an insane rant by Beck. And so I went to look it up, and actually what I heard wasn't even as crazy as went on later, which you're looking at right now. What happened was, when I heard was they were talking about the whole exchange between Rubio and Trump and the discussion of hands, and that Mr. Trump had said that Rubio wasn't such a lightweight after all, that nobody had ever brought up his hands before, and that geez, don't worry, Marco, I don't really have any problem down there. So Glenn Beck was appalled, Stu, Pat, they were all making comments. Everybody was appalled at Donald Trump's comment about this on the debate. And how horrified Glenn Beck was that his kids could have been watching. Normally they are watching the debates, but weren't that night. And oh, as a parent, how terrible would that have been to heard that exchange? And how would he have explained it to his children? And how, that's just how society has just gone wrong. And then proceeded to talk about it for 15 minutes. So, Beck bashes Trump, stating that that doesn't belong on the debate, and yeah, it probably doesn't. I'll even agree with that. But then to sit and talk about it for 10 to 15 minutes on your own show, and we know, and he's mentioned before that people use his show to as a like a civics class for homeschoolers. So, Mr. Beck, Donald Trump talked about it later at night, and congratulations, you brought it up for the homeschoolers. And during your exchange, you guys talked about specifically Hitler's micro penis. And I believe even Pat said, well, that's probably Donald's problem. He said he doesn't have a problem, but I don't believe him. So you guys went way farther than Donald did in his discussion of his small hands and his potential penis size. So Mr. Beck, Mr. Stu, Mr. Pat, I hope that you POSs are ashamed. Totally ashamed. And this comes from a very devout follower at one time. I won't take the time to show, but I've got quite a library of Mr. Beck's books. I was an insider. I did the 912 Project. Actually was the leader of the 912 Project here in town, which was very successful. One of the leaders, I should say. Um, yeah, I'm very disappointed in you guys. You guys have really gone out there, and honestly, Stu and Pat, though he probably rewards you handsomely, I think you should run away, because I think Beck's biscuits are sliding off of the cookie sheet. I honestly do. There is something definitely wrong with this guy, not because of he doesn't like Donald. I've only been a Donald Trump supporter for 2 weeks now. Before that, I was in the Carson and then the Cruz camp. So, you know what? I'm not a diehard like, some folks are. But this is bizarre. This has got me very worried. And now, when I look up, I see that he said that he would stab Donald Trump over and over again if he got close enough. And it was later mentioned, I will say, that this actually, some places have modified this, and there was the illusion that he was talking about stabbing Stu over and over, not Donald. So anyway, hold on. We'll continue on in phase two of this discussion.